Hello, everyone. I am Ryan Amer, representing Team Yellow Watermelon for the group assignment for Unit ETW2472. I come from Pakistan and I am currently in my second year, first semester at Monash University. I am taking this unit as part of my major, and I am grouped up with Ali Shayan and Marcus Young for this assignment. And I will now pass on to Shayan to introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Ali Shayan, and I'm also from Pakistan. And this is my second year, first semester, also majoring in business analytics and minoring in international business management. And this unit is also part of my major. And yeah, now I'll pass it on to Marcus.
Hi everyone, my name is Marcus and I'm from Malaysia. I am year 2, Sem 2, and my major is business analytics.
Okay, thank you everyone. So now we will look into the Scrum board. I can just put our pictures, our cameras here.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, so it might look weird that I'm looking in that direction, but that's where my monitor is, if you're wondering. Watcher or viewer on YouTube.
All right, sure.
No, I was pointing it out for the YouTube video. Okay.
Cool.
So first things first, for our Scrum board, we're going to look into our project file, which is right here. If you look at it, we have it. We have the tasks subsection. So it's divided into 5 phases: A, B, C, D, E, as it was pointed out to us in the appendix in the WBS. And so we have collectively worked together to construct this document. And for the sake of the initial stand-up, we're going to be looking at phase C and D. So I'm going to close the unnecessary ones so we can just focus on the ones on hand.
All right.
So looking into how our document is structured, we first start off with the phase so that we can easily determine which task is linked with which phase. The ID and the activity ID are linked to an extent, but it's mainly with the phase and the activity ID so that we can easily understand which part of the phase we are currently working on. So C1 would mean it is the first part of phase C. The ID represents the total number of tasks and where we are at the moment. Moving on to the task name, this was provided in the WBS. We simply filled it in and added numbers with the ID, so it's easier for us to recognize them in the Gantt chart.
Yeah.
You were saying?
No, it's okay. I was just elaborating on the same thing that you just said.
All right. And so the duration, this is the overall duration for task A, for example, but we also have it broken down into the major phases. So each phase has their personal number of days required to complete the task. We have the start and finish dates. So we have an approximate idea of when they'll be finished. This works in accordance with the calendar that we have set up for the Selangor calendar. Moving on, the WBS also provided us with predecessors. So we know that for C2, for example, we need to finish tasks 19 and 22, which is part of phase B. At least 19 is part of phase B, and 22 is C1 right here. It's also explained here in the predecessor ID. Moving forward into the resource initials, we had set up the resource sheet so that we can understand what the resource is, what its initials are, the quantity that which we will be employing them in, the percentage that they work at, and their standard rates, hourly and daily. Moving back to the task sheet. And this is the percentage complete. This we will be moving on to in the later stages. What do you guys
explained
think?
it pretty clearly.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a great collective effort. So what do you guys think of the structure of the project file that we have gotten so far?
No, I'm pretty satisfied. Yeah, it's clear, concise, everything's easy to understand here.
What about you, Marcus?
What about Marcus?
Everything able,
Yeah.
are you able to follow along and everything making sense? Any questions?
Yeah, it's easier to see which task we should complete and when we should follow, when we should complete, like when is the deadline to finish the specific task.
I think it is like
a timeline.
I think it is simpler to see it on the project file than it is on here in the WBS. Yeah, because look, everything is like, I'd say that we can read this as well, but some of these things are very, you know, so there's blank spots in some places, and it doesn't tell us that, for example, A9 is a milestone. It tells us it's a milestone here, but then here it doesn't tell us it's just a, you know, a huge phase of the project, and the ones below are sub tasks, right? So yeah, I agree.
It's all organized, easier to understand, read. Yeah.
Let's move forward to the Scrum board. We'll see where we are. So this is our Scrum board for Team Yellow Watermelon. This was introduced earlier in this recording. First, we'll start off with the backlog. In fact, before that, we're going to discuss the color coding here. So these are all three of us in the group, and I have color coded this the Scrum board in a way that it is, you know, a tad bit easier to recognize who is assigned to which task. So for example, I am color coded to red. Cheyenne is color coded to yellow. Marcus is color coded green. So the colors don't represent anything except for the fact that who they are assigned to.
It's easier to label who does what with colors.
Definitely, yes. Now we'll move on to, you know, discussing phases C and D, which are labeled in the backlog. So first things first, we're going to look at the backlog for task 22, which is plan data schema. So if we go into the project file, I'm just going to close all of these once again. So if we look at plan data schema 22, that is task C1, meaning it is the very first task of the dashboard data model. And the way we have divided our work is that Marcus will be looking into the dashboarding and dashboarding visuals with the aid of the other group members of myself and Cheyenne. Yeah. So I think let's speak to Marcus about this. Marcus, how are the initial steps of looking into Power BI, and where are you up to with you know, planning how to move forward and uploading the necessary files onto Power BI? What is your take on that?
So far, I've completed the financial performance tab.
All right.
I'll be moving on to the cash performance tab and additional requirements.
All
right. So you have.
How did it go?
Yeah. So
how did it go? How was the procedure? Was it easy, or because I understand you're also pretty new to it?
It was moderate. As I'm new to this Power BI app, and I'm slowly getting used to how does it work with the help of Cheyenne and Brian.
Okay, so in your opinion, for task 22 and 23, since you are assigned to them, do you think this should go under working or under completed?
I will consider working for both
Working
22
for
and
both.
23.
Wait, wouldn't you think that loading flat files would be completed, since you say you have no way? You say that you still haven't done the cache movements tab and
Yeah.
additional requirements.
Yeah.
Okay, but you have planned out everything and how you are going to move forward with this, correct?
Yes, that's true.
So in that case, wouldn't you think it would be better to put task 22 under completed?
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, that's good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to color code this.
It's color that was green.
Is that the green?
Yep, green.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Green.
it's a bit difficult for me to see the color on here.
Yeah,
Okay, this one is also assigned to
Green.
Marcus, since he still has not completed
Change
the
this
financial
one.
performance. Yeah, and the
Alright,
additional
change it to green.
requirements.
Yep.
Okay, and we'll look into the next task, which is task 24. Create relationships. Now, according to the WBS, this is a one-day task, and I think Cheyenne will also be helping out with these tasks.
Of course. Yeah.
So, in your opinion, what do you think? Are you getting well with this task, and how long do you think it would take for you to complete it?
Honestly, I think I'm doing all right with it. Again, I'm also pretty new to the project. This unit is the first time I used it. So I'm just watching videos along with it, how to perform tasks, and all of them working on them simultaneously.
Right, so we're using like all the resources we have available, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll put this under working, correct?
Yeah.
All right. And I think for task 27, where it states here, where it states scope requirements with end users, this so this is the first of the dashboard visuals phase. So from what I understand of this task is related to the page 9 here, which is the stakeholder presentation. So as far as that is concerned, that is a group effort, and it is still underway since we are not complete with it. Therefore, I'm going to say this will be done by the entire group, still under works, since we are yet to complete the rest of the tasks. All right, I'm not, pardon?
Let's leave this as white, since
yeah, I was just gonna say
person's
we're
gonna
gonna leave this uncolored.
Yeah, all right.
So far for task 28, mock-up designs, I believe this would go under working, don't you think, Marcus? Marcus?
Oh, Marcus?
Sorry?
Oh, so task 28, you think this would be still working, correct? Because we are not done with the Power BI file.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it should be working.
All right, great. I'll just put this as green as well. Again, I think for task 29, this should be review designs with end users. I think this is a group effort, since we are not collectively done with the Power BI file. We cannot really look into this for now. For part 30, for task 30, I think we can put this into completed, but I think we have to specify that this is partially completed. The reason I say this is because as Marcus is working on the Power BI file along with our help, we are adding the visuals as we go along. Therefore, it should be in the middle of working and partially completed. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right. So yeah, that makes sense. Again, for this one, I'm going to put this for under working. This is because we have not yet gotten to the cache movements tab, so we have not created anything for this. Marcus, when do you think you will be moving on to the cache movements tab?
I think by tomorrow or the day after.
All right, so we
But it should be
can,
tomorrow.
so let's set the deadline here. So it will be done in the
But let's
next
do,
24 to 48 hours,
yeah,
as Marcus has stated.
let's just color code that as well.
Yes, sorry, you're right.
Okay.
All right. Financial performance tab, Marcus, you stated that you have completed that.
Yep.
Right, so we're just gonna get that done. Do you remember when you got this finished? Was this recently or like last week or something?
I would say, I think it was 2 days ago or
Okay,
yesterday.
completed
I think 2 days
2
ago.
days prior to initial stand-up. Sounds amazing. And cash movements tab and additional requirements, you stated that you are still working on them.
Mhm.
Okay, and I believe we set the internal deadline to be the 14th, correct?
Yep.
And you are still underway to getting that done?
Yep.
All right, to be completed within the next 24 to 48 hours.
48 hours.
Oops, not March. Marcus, copy that, update it here, edit it here, and it applies there as well. So far for the backlog, I think we are complete assigning the tasks
Consulting.
and completing them. On top of that, I feel, so right, this one is a group effort and so is 29. That's why we have not assigned any colors to it so far.
Yeah,
And
white is group effort.
yeah, Cheyenne is right in that. The white would represent all of us from Team Watermelon. And so far for the initial stand-up, I believe we have covered everything we have needed to.
I think so as well.
We have decided which cards we're going to pull. Prioritize, we have not prioritized, but I believe like the color coding just helps with the priority of who is going to be doing which task, and we have set deadlines for it. So I think that also counts for priority. And looking into the next parts, all we have to do is upload this. And yeah, I think we should be done for the initial stand-up. Are you guys in content with what we achieved in the initial stand-up today?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm okay with
That's
it. Yeah,
fine.
went well.
Yeah, I think this is great. It helped us identify where we are and what we need to do moving forward.
Yeah,
And I think we
sure.
will be ending it here. Right, guys?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Thank you everyone for joining. My name is Ryan Omer and I was the Scrum Master for today's stand-up.
Oh yeah, we need to assign a Scrum Master. Sorry, forgot.
Yeah,
For the
no.
next time.
So yeah, so I was the Scrum Master for today's stand-up, but for the moving like the next stand-ups, we will have other group members, which we will decide later on. At the moment, Cheyenne, you say you will be.
Yeah, at the moment, I'm volunteering, but we could always change that.
Yeah, so I think we need to have multiple intermediates as it states here, but moving forward, we'll look into what is required. And then for the final, we can have either myself or Marcus, whichever way we move forward, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining.